Right. Well, we can go ahead and get started. Joining us tonight, we have Emily Blank. She is the director of all of the academies. She's going to be giving you a lot of the information tonight. We also have John Chilman. He is one of our counselors, and he'll tell you a lot of information about our academic, our honors programs. And then we have Kat Stokes, high school principal, who's here to kick us off as well. So thank you for joining us, everybody. And let's see, who wants to start us off tonight?
I can happily start us off. All right. Well, good evening and welcome to our academics preview night webinar. As Mrs. Dwyer said, I am privileged to serve as the high school principal. I am excited to share with you tonight just how special and honestly incredible our academies are here at Faith Lutheran. Faith Lutheran is renowned in Nevada for our academic excellence, and our academies are the catalyst for that, along with so much more. Our high school offers over 200 different courses for students that the average student can only take 8 during the school year. So already a good problem to have. And for our academies, this awesome problem is even more challenging to try to fit all of those really cool courses in that prepare students for the next level. I mean, between the flight classes and molecular genetics, the offerings are pretty amazing. We have carefully crafted these academies to allow students to investigate, to engage, and to have that hands-on experience in areas that our students are interested in. Think of it as like majoring in college, but being able to experience it in a high school setting. Finally, to top it all off, our students receive their endorsement on their transcripts and their diploma at graduation, and they get special recognition during their senior year. Again, I'm excited for y'all to join us this evening. Thank you for joining us, and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. John Chilman for more information.
Sounds good. Going off of that first slide there, we definitely want to prepare students for life after Faith Lutheran. While we certainly realize that whether it's a tech school, trade school, the military, going right into a career, college isn't for everyone, but for most of our students, 85 to 90% plus, college is the next step. And for some of them, that might even be a highly selective college that has a single-digit acceptance rate. And so the biggest question we want to ask students is, what do you want to get out of college? It's not a degree, it's not a job. All schools can provide that. Students want more. What is that more? That's really what we focus on in our college prep curriculum, and it's all about finding the right fit. And so from that thing, challenging and active coursework, we have over 36 honors classes. We have over 24 AP classes, and all of those are designed to not just prepare students for college, but also to challenge them and prepare them for the next level. Another way that we do that is through our testing preparation. And while we do have an excellent relationship with Test Prep Mike from Most Prep, we also have a new program. In fact, since Mr. Bycom is on here, I'm going to put him on the spot. Can you talk a little bit, sir, about the SARA training that we're just diving into and how successful it's been so far?
Yeah, we've added into the curriculum for all English classes and math classes what's something called SARA training, which is from a company called Ray Das. That's RAYDASS. So you can look it up yourself and see. But it's integrated into the curriculum. It's part of the student's grade, and it's specific prep for PSAT for freshmen and sophomores and the beginning of junior year, and then moves on into, for the rest of junior year, into SAT prep as well.
Thank you, sir. The next little dot there, it talks about extracurricular and service, where again, all of these things are about finding the right fit and helping your son or daughter be able to maximize their potential and find out what they're really prepared for in life from a Christian standpoint. We require 20 hours of service a year. I always get parents that ask me, are colleges impressed by that 20 hours of service? We don't require 20 hours of service to show colleges how impressive our kids are. We require 20 hours of service to show teenagers that the world doesn't revolve around them. But I think in that, it helps them to understand what they're about, what their strengths and weaknesses are, and what they like. And you're going to hear this best fit term again and again and again. From a college prep standpoint, if you look at, everybody talks about US News and World Report and the top 100 colleges. The biggest thing that those rankings use is trying to find your biggest bang for your buck. The fact that in this country, you can get high school education for free. If anybody that was looking at Faith Lutheran really wanted your biggest bang for your buck, you'd be choosing free education in the public school. The reason that you're looking at a school like Faith Lutheran is because we're the best, in our opinion, at preparing students for life after high school. Next slide.
Absolutely. Oh, let me go back to mine.
Because I don't think I have the ability to change it. There we go.
Oh, there you go.
We have a great dual credit relationship here with Concordia, Nebraska. We have used Concordia, Wisconsin in the past. We've used Grand Canyon in the past. But our relationship with Concordia, Nebraska, and that's what that lovely CUNE stands for, is Concordia, Nebraska. We have a bunch of credits, a bunch of classes where students can earn college credit by taking their high school classes here. You can see that at $85 a credit, when the average credit at a school like Concordia is between $300 and $400 a credit, you're getting credits for pennies on the dollar. It's fantastic. A lot of those dual credits are advanced placement, but not all of them. And so depending on the college, and again, it varies from school to school, but we can tell you that well over 90% of all colleges and universities will take our dual credit classes from Concordia, Nebraska. And so when you add the advanced placement and the dual credit at some schools, state schools like Reno, Colorado State, University of Minnesota are three that I know for sure that you can double dip. And so, for example, my youngest son actually started college as a sophomore and only had to go for 3 years because of the dual credit and the advanced placement. So the exam, we require all of our AP students to take the exam at the end. Colleges want to see that you not only did that class, but you were brave enough to take the exam as well. And that's why we require it for all of our students. Mrs. Blank or Mr. Bikame, either one of you want to jump in and dual credit, because you guys are just as knowledgeable about this as me. I love putting them on the spot.
You got it covered, man.
Mrs. Blank, anything? No? All right. Next slide then.
Oh, and I just wanted to say, as we're going through the information, if anybody has any questions, you can pop it into the Q&A section where everybody was panicking that I did it wrong. So let me just delete those. But if you have questions, please feel free to pop them in there, and I'll say them out loud so everybody can hear the answer as well. So thank you for that. All right, our next slide. Here you go.
All right, my final slide, the Honors Institute. Mr. Bikema is the dean of the Honors Institute, and he's the one that created this awesome thing. But as the director, I get to work with those students, and I get to run the Honors Institute, and it is a heck of a lot of fun. Every student does not have to be in the Honors Institute. Some of these things I'll even steal a little bit of Mrs. Blank's thunder when she starts talking about the academies, but no college is going to bow down to the mighty Faith Lutheran Honors Institute. No college is going to bow down to any of our academies. About a third of our students are involved in the academies. And even if we talk about the STEM Academy, which is almost prestigious here at Faith Lutheran and the hardest to get into, again, no school bows down to the mighty STEM. It's the things that they do in there. For example, I was talking to a student today where her dad was asking about internships over the summer. And she got to tell her dad that that's what she's been working on with Mrs. Blank in her advisories for most of the year. In the Honors Institute, we do that kind of same thing where we work through and work with those students to help them. If you look on our school website, you will see the description of the Honors Institute. And I think it's really, really well stated, where it talks about we come alongside helping students. Now, that may be helping a student get into a highly selective university, but it can also mean that there's just a student who wants to be a pilot and they're going through our flight school and they're not taking that traditional college route because they want to become a licensed pilot. It may be that they're a high profile athlete, and it very well may be that they're trying to get into Harvard, Stanford, Yale. But some of the perks that we allow for the Honors Institute, one of them there, the college coaching. Nick Meyer from University Peak, we have an excellent relationship with him. He just did a seminar last Saturday with all of our juniors where he was already in the fall of their junior year starting to help them contemplate, create, and prepare their essay for when they're going to be applying for school an entire year from now. Leadership seminars. Mr. Cheney talks to all of our sophomores, juniors, and seniors in our Honors Institute. He did an excellent job a couple of weeks ago about dealing with our juniors about their lack of sleep and kind of going through how a student who studies for 2 hours and gets 8 hours of sleep actually performs better than the student who studies for 8 hours and gets 2 hours of sleep. And so those are just some of the little things that help with those leadership seminars. The capstone event, probably one of my favorite things in the Honors Institute. Our seniors have to do a culminating senior honors project. And there is simply one criteria in that honors project, and it is take something and make it better. Now, on the high ridiculous end, we have a greenhouse on campus, and that actually was dreamt up by a senior in the Honors Institute. She didn't build it and she didn't raise the money for it, but she came up with the idea for it. And 4 years after she graduated, we brought her back to cut the ribbon on the greenhouse. On the low ridiculous end, we've had students that have, we had students one year, the first year that the Knights were in town, 3 of our students started a Golden Knights fan club, but in that make it better vein, their whole desire was to educate students on hockey rules, and they even got together about once a month to watch a game and kind of talk about it and grow in it. And there's everything in between. I could go on for an hour about all the different capstone projects, but it really is fantastic. And so if you have any questions about the Honors Institute, that was kind of a whirlwind way to explain it, please reach out to me there. My information is there. I would love to chat or email or meet face-to-face, whatever, to talk about the Honors Institute further. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, John. So now Emily Blank is going to talk about our endorsement programs.
Yeah, so the Honors Institute is just one of our 9 endorsement programs. We have a Christ Academy where students can learn about serving Christ and others through their vocations or jobs, a Business and Entrepreneurship Academy if students are interested in either avenue there, a STEM Academy with endorsements in engineering, computer science, biomedical, architecture, environmental science, and a general STEM endorsement. We also have a Faith Conservatory of the Fine Arts, a Flight Academy where students can get certified in the conservatory, students can major in visual art, in musical theater, in vocal and instrumental performance, and dance, I think is the other one that I was missing there. Sorry. And then the Flight Academy, students can get certified in drone or getting their private or commercial pilot's licenses. In justice and advocacy, our students can get endorsements in pre-law or in diplomacy, also in criminal justice, hospitality and tourism, and then our film and broadcasting, if they want to be in front of the camera, behind the camera, or editing. And then Mr. Chilman, John already talked about our Honors Institute there. So what these endorsement programs do is allow our students to demonstrate a passion. And we want to allow them to take electives, to do internships, to really help them stand out and show the college that they're interested in, that passion that they have and that drive, and who they can be at that college as well. So like Mr. Chilman mentioned, our students are not required to join one of our endorsement programs, but if one sparks their interest, we would definitely encourage them to consider it. Besides standing out at college admissions time, these experiences can give students the opportunities they need to talk about at essays or in interviews. It also can provide them with a social group if that's what they're looking for, with like-minded people at school. When we ask our students to reflect on their time in the academies, so many of them are always grateful for the friendships that they made as a part of that program. So on the next slide, you'll see a couple of benefits in the endorsements. So this is an example of a student transcript, and you can see in the bottom left corner, I kind of blew it up for you, that all the Academy endorsements show up on your transcript. In addition to your endorsements, any certifications students earn or internship hours are also displayed on their transcript. And Academy graduates also receive a medallion to wear at graduation. We want to share with you some stories of our current students. And so we have two students with us this evening. So we have Stella and Annie, and we're going to start with Stella. Stella's a senior this year, and she's going to tell you a little bit about the things that she loves to participate in here at Faith Lutheran.
Hi everyone, my name is Stella Russo. I'm currently a senior at Faith. Just a little bit about me is I'm actually from Nashville, Tennessee, and I started attending Faith around 7th grade, so around 2018. I absolutely love Faith. The school offers so many opportunities. For example, I am currently involved in Model United Nations. It is a student-led club where I'm actually president this year. I've been a part of it since 8th grade, and in Model UN, students act as delegates representing countries, debating and discussing world policies with people all around the world. This year, actually last weekend, we participated in Bruinmun at UCLA, and we're currently in the process of organizing a trip to Boston, Massachusetts. I was the only middle schooler on the high school team, so it was extremely intimidating, but at first, meeting everyone, I felt very welcome and I was treated with respect. I'm also a part of DECA, which is a business club that offers simulations of real life meetings and challenges. And I started this around my freshman year, which was during COVID. So it was actually online, kind of like this. Every year we participate in state, which is held on the Strip for about 3 days. And if you win state, you actually get to go to internationals, which is in LA this year. We have about 5 clusters, and among that, I'm actually president of the hospitality cluster. Now, speaking about hospitality, I'm also enrolled in the hospitality and tourism industry, like Ms. Blank said earlier. It's one of our newest academies and focusing on customer service and real life experiences. Our hospitality classes, which is a required course for the academy, are given tasks and presentations of real life scenarios and the hospitality world. I want to go into the tourism industry, becoming a museum director or a curator, and this academy and class really helps with that. If you're enrolled in the academy, you must complete a 100-hour internship during which students are able to get certifications and more. And I was able to be a part of the Faith admissions staff. And so basically, I gave tours and helped with advancements, getting to know the ins and outs of Faith. And I really loved it. It was a great opportunity. I got to go in the office and I met so many new students and people who are interested in going to Faith. Everything has come to me around random times of my life, and it all seemed to fit in. I've stuck with most everything that I do. The most challenging part is keeping up with everything. I'm enrolled in 9 classes, with 1 being online, and so many extracurricular activities like student leadership for the marching band and captain for girls varsity lacrosse. So it can be challenging at times, keeping everything straight and organized, which is really crucial for success. However, I really love how Faith works everything out, and I always love to talk to my teachers to see what I can do to improve. When I was in 4th grade, I actually was tested for academic support. Since then, I was able to test in my public school libraries, outside of my classroom, and other places around my school. However, I never had a place where I could fully concentrate without any distractions. This was about in middle school and in Nashville and elementary school there. Usually people would be walking back and forth, class doors would be opening, and I would be able to hear all the classes going on. The Academic Center at Faith allows me to have an opportunity not only to not be distracted, but focus solely on my tests and quizzes, helping me receive the best grades I can possibly get. I'm enrolled in our resource class as well. It's much like a study hall, however, it's only for students who need academic support. All of the amazing teachers make sure that everyone is on top of their grades, assignments, and helps with anything that we ask, whether that is a math problem, with our essays, or life in general. College is coming up for me, and I'm looking at universities in Europe, and the resource staff makes sure that all my questions are answered, helps me navigate the unique admissions process, and communicates with universities abroad in order to find the right college for me and others. The class is usually small, which allows me to make more of a personal relationship with my teachers, and that extra help actually allows me to focus on my other school activities as well as my schoolwork. It's really helpful, and I'm so thankful that Faith sees the importance of academic support.
Thanks, Stella. We're going to let Annie talk, and then we'll see if there's any questions for you guys. So Annie's a junior. She's our next student. I'm going to let her talk about her academic activities. Hi, Annie.
Hi. Hi, everyone. My name is Annie Aukes. I'm currently a junior, and I've been going to Faith since I was in middle school, and then I also went to the academy in the preschool. So I've been in the Faith family since the very beginning, and I really love it. So a couple things about me is that I am in the STEM Academy. I'm in the biomedical endorsement right now is what I'm trying to pursue. And so basically for the branch, which Miss Blank has talked about, but I have to complete an internship at the end of this year. And then I also have to take classes to fulfill some requirements. And I feel like the STEM Academy has just really helped in making me more focused and allowing me to be on the same path to pursue what I want to do in the future, which is psychology and like medicine. And then I'm also in the Honors Institute at Faith Lutheran. And in the Honors Institute, we do service projects and bettering of the community. And it's really important to be in these types of communities because overall, just helping the community that we live in is really important. And fostering the student life where the students are proud to be at a school that serves others is very important. And then I'm also in the National Honor Society, which is an application-based program that we have at Faith Lutheran. And so we plan service events, host some sports games like the upcoming Silent Night basketball game. And then we just overall help school spirit to prosper. Sometimes we pair up with the student council and we do some leadership-based activities with them. And then I'm also in the marching band and I play alto saxophone and I am second chair. And I love band. I think it's such a great way, even though it's portrayed bad sometimes, it's a great way to meet new people and just have a great time pursuing the things that you love. And part of band at Faith Lutheran is something called the conservatory, which we talked about. And in the conservatory, I was in that freshman year, but basically you get this opportunity to be with a bunch of like-minded musicians that just love to play music. And you're presented with many opportunities to compete at a state level and sometimes an international level. Like last year, some of the band members went to New York, which is national, but sometimes they do international trips as well. And overall, just like these programs help us to meet people that we wouldn't previously know, and it just broadens the community. And then I'm also in Model United Nations like Stella. I'm a co-head of education. And all of these different groups and extracurriculars that I'm in have just really helped me to become a better rounded person. I do a lot of like different categories of things, and I feel like they just help me to see that there are so many aspects of the world that you might not know just from following one path. So it's really great to just like step out of your comfort zone other than like education and just academics and see humanities like social sciences, things like that. And that's why Faith Lutheran is so amazing. It's because all these groups kind of join together to make me a better person and help me to just see that the world is not super small and that there are so many different opportunities that I can take.
Thank you so much, Annie and Stella. We really appreciate you. Does anybody have any questions for them? You can type them in the Q&A and I'll read them out loud and then they can answer them. Anything at all. All right, well, we can move on to the next slide. And if you have questions, we can come back to them as well.
Okay, so with our academies, I want to give you more information. I see some questions coming up about supporting internships and requirements, and so we're going to answer all of those questions. So I'm going to talk about how our academies are like a school within a school, the structure of them, the benefits, the frequently asked questions we get about what do you need to get into them, that kind of thing. So on this QR code is where you'll find more information about our academies. It takes you straight to the webpage, the part of our website that has all of our endorsement programs linked. You can click on a specific one and you can see more information about the requirements to get in, all of these things about that I'm going to talk about, and all the graduation requirements for them. Okay, so
go ahead. I was going to say we have some questions, but you can
go ahead. Let's pause for questions.
Yeah. So Annie and Stella, we have a student who wanted to know, what is it like being in honors and STEM, or I guess honors in one of the institutes? Is it overwhelming? Did you like it?
I'll answer this about being in honors in STEM. So really, it's not a super, like my schedule is not packed with things to do for honors in STEM. I have to take some requirements, like some classes for the STEM Academy, but really it's easy to balance these sorts of things because they just go hand in hand. And that's why it's so great to be able to balance these things at Faith, because I can be in several things at once. And even when I was in the conservatory my freshman year, it really wasn't hard. Like there's meetings during school that we have to attend, but usually they don't coincide. So you can go to one and then go to the other and then just take the classes that you need. And it's really just, it's not stressful at all to be in both.
Great answer. Thank you so much. And then we had another question about the process of getting into conservatory. And then if you have to go to a college based on those talents that you used in the conservatory.
I can talk a little bit about the conservatory. I actually play the flute and I have played the flute since 5th grade. So it's been a really long time, but actually when I was a freshman, I did an audition for the conservatory and I got in. It's just like any audition that you would think of for either dance or for theater or for vocal or for instrumental. You're gonna have a sight reading piece. Let's say you're doing instrumental, you'll have a sight reading piece and then you'll have about a minute, maybe a minute less of a piece that you practiced and want to play. And then you'll just basically audition from there, and then you'll get your acceptance a little later on. It shouldn't be too later on, but it really depends on what type of major you're looking for. You do not have to pursue that major in college. So, for example, I'm not going to college for my instrument, but the conservatory does allow you to have that head start, and it also does allow you to have kind of that basics of what it's going to be like in an instrumental or a theater role, if that kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Stella. And then we have another question that I'll actually field. The best way to ensure our applicant is enrolled in order to audition for the vocal or theater majors in the conservatory. I realized I didn't actually introduce myself at the beginning because I was panicking because our panelists, I didn't connect them right. So I'm Michelle Dwyer. I'm the Director of Admissions and Marketing here. Thank you so much for joining us and being patient. So we are in conversations with conservatory and the admissions department to make sure that the audition process and the enrollment process coincide timing wise. So you would audition for the conservatory in January and you'll be finishing up your interview process for admissions in that same time period. And then you would get a decision from both around the same time within a week or two of each other. So you would optimally know, hey, congratulations, you're enrolled in Faith Lutheran and you made it into the conservatory at the same time. So that way we're not giving you one answer and then you're waiting for the other one. So that's our plan for timing for this year. I don't see any other questions for Annie and Stella. So thank you so much for joining us, ladies. And then I think Emily was going to talk some more about some specifics.
Perfect. Thanks so much for all your questions, guys. So I am going to go to the next slide and we're going to let you know how our academies are like a school within a school. What it is what we offer is like the different opportunities like you would find in a magnet school, only at our school, you have all of the opportunities of any kind of activity, sports. You also can drop a program at any point, which you can't always do in some of the other programs at other schools. We really view this time in high school, even though it might seem like we're not trying to push students to commit to a particular career or anything right now. What we're trying to do is to support them and allow them to explore a passion. And that's why we do allow you to drop them at any point. And we also allow you to take any of the electives, whether you're in an academy or not, so that you can explore these things. So Mr. Chilman mentioned that we have about about 350 students out of our whole high school, just over, like 1,200 students are in our academy. So you're not required to join one, but we'd certainly encourage you to if one sounds interesting. Our academy students are placed into advisories, which are like homerooms. And so our special academy advisories, this is where we do a lot of support for the academies. This allows our academy coordinators to frequently check in with students. It also is great socially for the students. They're in with the other students in their academy, which means that they can work on academy and elective coursework together. They can get help. They can build friendships during this time. So that can be really helpful that it's this school within a school. So on the next slide, we'll talk about the structure of the academies, and you'll see a QR code here. What this QR code will take you to is all of our specialized courses. So this will take you to the part of our high school website where you can look at all of the different courses within the different academies. So like I mentioned, you don't have to be in an academy to take advantage of these courses. And so you can explore all of those. We will also show these QR codes at the end. So if you want to get a screenshot of them all at once, you're welcome to do that later. So we have these three components to the academies. The specialized courses is one of them. The second component is the element of competition. So Stella and Annie both mentioned some competitions that our academy students are involved in. And so if you can go ahead and go to the next slide. So this shows some of our academy students as they're busy. So our business and hospitality students, as Stella mentioned, they compete in DECA. Our justice and advocacy students compete in mock trial, Model UN, or the We the People competition. Our film and broadcasting students enter their work into local competitions. They also submit work to the National Student Media Contest, and they often do the film competitions, like 24-hour film competitions. Our engineering students compete in VEX Robotics. Our biomedical students are competing in Roseman University's Research Symposium. Our architecture students enter into the AIA design competition. The computer science students enter app challenges or compete in Cyber Patriot. And our environmental science students enter their research into UNLV's Science and Engineering Fair. So that's the element of competition. Our visual and vocal and instrumental dance musical theater students also compete in their field at the local and national level. So they do all kinds of different competitions as well. And then we want to talk about this third component, which is internships. And so we do support our students in internships. It's not completely up to the student to find one. We actually spend all of junior year working on this. So at the beginning of junior year, in your advisory, what we do is we focus on what are some specific areas of interest you have. Then we build resumes, and then we meet together individually as well as a group to start to talk about who should we reach out to partner with. Faith Lutheran, we have actually partnered with over 70 local organizations and businesses. So we have a number of partners ourselves that we can help provide and connect students to for their internship. We also do support students if they have a personal connection, because sometimes those can also be really great opportunities. This summer, we actually will have 60 juniors completing internships, and it's a really great program. You can see in the pictures here how the students really can get the benefit of the mentor relationship that they get. They also get to see what this job is like day to day and get a feel for if this is actually for them or not. We have some special situations that, just anecdotal are fun to talk about because it demonstrates some of the fun of doing the internships and the benefits to them. So on the next slide, you'll see one of our alumni, Andrew, he did his internship with Dr. Morris at UNLV, and he had such a great experience with Dr. Morris that he actually attended Dr. Morris's alma mater at Cal Berkeley and then majored in the same thing in computer science. And so even though Andrew was, at Cal Berkeley completing his work, what he did was Dr. Morris invited him to come back and conduct research with him at UNLV in the summers. And then he actually presented this research with him nationally as an undergraduate student. So it was such a great connection. Here we have a picture on the next slide of Kira Wolfenbarger, and she did her internship with a partner. We have CoinCloud, and she continued on in her internship and then was getting paid for doing her work on into college. And then she actually came back last year as to recruit younger students for the internship program they have. And so that was great to see. And then our final one is to show you Zach. Zach did an engineering internship. He loved it. And when some of the supervisors he had at the engineering firm, they started their own business, they reached out to Zach and had him do CAD work for them while he was at college. And then they loved working with Zach, and they were just like, Zach, when you're done with college, you've got a job with us. So what a great opportunity for him to already have a job lined up and be working towards that. So those are some of the benefits of being a part of one of the academies, and that opportunity to have an internship and to have that social circle. We also want to talk about some frequently asked questions. And this gets to the heart of a lot of our 8th, 9th, 10th grade students who are like, okay, I'm ready. I'm sold. Now what do I do? So the first thing I want to talk about are the conservatory auditions, which Michelle Dwyer mentioned recently. So those auditions are going to be in the new year. And if you are a new applicant to Faith Lutheran, you're going to get that information from admissions for how you can sign up to do your audition, and that'll line up for you with your application. So that information will be sent out to you. If you're a current Faith student and you're looking to audition for the conservatory, you do need to audition this January if you're looking to join the conservatory for next school year. Okay, so you want to audition this January for next school year. And that information to sign up will be in our school announcements. So if you watch for that, you'll be able to sign up for them. Now that's a little bit different than our other academy applications. So for our other academies, you do not apply the year before. So you won't actually apply until January of your 9th or 10th grade year. So what we do is we look at your courses that you're in to make sure that you are looking for what the academies are offering. So we look at your semester of work, and then that's part of your application process in January. So there are actually multiple chances to apply. You can apply in January of 9th grade or January of 10th grade. And so thus you can change academies also. We try to get you settled before 11th grade so that we can help support you in finding an internship during 11th grade. You can apply to more than one. So we have many students who will apply to more than one academy. Some of them will complete, 2 endorsements. Some students will apply to more than one and then drop one later as they figure out what they're more interested in. So you can use it to different advantages. So yes, you can drop a program later. And then this is what's really helpful is if you need to take a specific class to get into an academy, sometimes that is the case. And so I'm going to list out the ones that you need to take a class for. So if you're interested in joining our Business and Entrepreneurship Academy, you need to take our Foundations of Business class. So if you're in 8th grade or in 9th grade, you want to sign up for that class, and then you will apply to join that academy in January. If you're interested in film or broadcasting, you would take our Broadcasting or Art of Filmmaking class for next school year. If you're interested in flight, if you are going to be a 9th grader, you would want to sign up for the drone or avionics class. If you're going into 10th grade, or you have to hold off with Flight 1 to work on your private pilot's license until 10th grade, because you can't actually start working in a plane. It's kind of like getting your driver's license, that you have to have a minimum age. You have to be 16 and a half to start working in a plane. So that's why you need to wait with Flight 1 until 10th grade. For hospitality and tourism, we'd want you to take the principal's class before getting into the academy. And for justice and advocacy, instead of being a course requirement, it's actually an activity requirement. You need to participate in high school mock trial or high school model UN. And so more information about those things. So if you're interested in participating in one of those and joining the academies, then so in the spring, we will have tryouts for our fall mock trial team. Okay, so this spring we'll have tryouts. So if you're in 8th grade, you'll actually try out to join our fall mock trial team this spring. Model UN doesn't have spring tryouts. Model UN would start meeting next August. So as a 9th grader, you would watch the announcements for when Model UN has its information session to join and start meeting. They usually meet on Thursday evenings. And so you want to watch for those, and we can also get you more information. Feel free to email me there. So you have my email address there. We'll pop it up there in a little bit too. Let me pause for a moment and see what kind of questions. Michelle, feel free to start letting me know what should I address here.
Yeah, absolutely. So a good question. How does this work for transfers? Are deadlines extended for which classes to require?
Okay, so sometimes we have the biggest concern is usually junior transfer students, because 9th and 10th graders still have the opportunity to follow the normal process. So if you're going to be a junior transfer student, we ask you to reach out to me as quickly as possible so that we can follow along in your application journey, and then make sure that you're able to get into the courses that you need, since you would have 2 years to make sure you get those course requirements in, and that we can make sure you get into the advisory so we can support you with getting an internship. So we definitely support you. We just want to make sure that you email me and let me know so I can keep tabs on that process for you.
Mm-hmm. And then the next one, do some of the required classes fill up, and what happens if students can't get into these core required classes?
That might be a question more for John or Dan.
Yes, they do. They can fill up, and priority enrollment is given to students who have the higher qualifications, essentially. So if for instance, AP biology, there's too many students for AP biology, priority enrollment will be given to the students that have the highest grades in the prerequisite class for AP biology.
Gotcha. Thank you, Dan. And then another question is, this is a really good one. If I have resources, one of my electives, so like Stella was saying, is it hard to also schedule the classes that you need for the academies? Stella, did you have any issues fitting everything into your schedule?
No, thankfully for me, everything fit perfectly with all my required classes and electives. In junior and senior year, I did more of the classes that were required for the academy. So last year I did the principles class and foundations of business and persuasion and argument, which are some that you can pick from. And then this year I'm doing the management class. So really, some advice is to just plan out your schedule, classes that you want to take throughout your school year or throughout your time at Faith. I found that really helpful. But other than that, everything fit perfectly for me, and I've heard no other student who had an issue with that.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And then another question, how many honor societies are on campus?
I don't know off the top of my head, but there's National Honor Society, Spanish Honor Society, Science National Honor Society. There's Mu Alpha Theta.
For art.
There's art.
Visual art and music.
Yeah.
Instrumental.
So probably one for every interest that you have.
Yeah.
And if you don't have one, we could probably start one. So
hey, Honors Institute project.
Perfect.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that I was actually tutoring some people today, and one of the things they were most impressed with is if we have students who have an interest and they find other students that have that same interest and want to start something, then our Office of Student Life jumps in and helps them start that club. There are a couple of examples that were given earlier. And so I think the French Honor Society, for instance, which we also have, was an honors project because we didn't have it previous to 4 or 5 years ago when a student who was in AP French wanted to start it.
Very good. Awesome. And then there's one more. What classes do you need to take to get into STEM and the Honors Institute?
So I'll talk about STEM first, and then I'll let the guys talk about Honors Institute. So with STEM, you just take in 9th grade, you take your 9th grade math and you take biology for your science class. And we look at your biology and math grades. You need to have a 4.0 weighted GPA at the end of the first semester, and you need to have a 90% if it's an honors math or an honors science class. And if it's a regular math and science class, you need to have a 95%. So you don't have to take any special class to get into STEM. We're just looking at your math and science grades as well as your weighted GPA. If you're interested in computer science, you would want to be looking at taking AP Computer Science Principles. That would be the class. You're not required to take that to get into the computer science, but you should be taking a computer science class just to figure out if that is an interest you have. And we talk to the computer science teachers and figure out which kids are interested there. So requirements for Honors Institute.
Yes, I will take that one. The 2 times that you can be invited into the Honors Institute are after first semester of your freshman year or first semester of your sophomore year. You must have a minimum of 2 honors classes your freshman year, or that would be 4 honors classes after first semester of your sophomore year. And you must have a 3.85 GPA or above, which is basically 7 A's and 1 B. And that would be an unweighted GPA.
Got it. Very good. Thank you. Any other questions about our endorsement programs? We've got one more thing to plug for you before we wrap up. All right. I wanted to quickly just touch on Faith Lutheran Online. This is a program that we launched in 2001, but it's been growing and we had our biggest year yet. If you are interested in taking any online courses or being a fully online student or a hybrid student, we have a webinar which will be in 2 weeks on Tuesday, November 28th. It'll be the same time, about the same length of time. So you can hear more about the flexibility that this offers, just the way that kids have really tailored their schedule to fit their needs. So that webinar is coming up in 2 weeks and we would love to have you join us. There's a link to sign up on this next slide as well. So if you just hit that QR code that says flow in the middle, that's what our Faith Lutheran Online is dubbed as. And then Emily, do you want to talk about the other 2 links?
So these are QR codes that I had previously shown. So just in case, we just wanted to put it all in one spot for you at the end here. So the first one on your left, the Academy information, that takes you straight to a page with all of our endorsement programs that we talked about tonight. On those pages, you will find the information for what you need to take to get into the Academy. So the requirements to get in, as well as the graduation requirements. So we didn't spend a lot of time talking about the graduation requirements, but those are all located on those pages. Then in the middle QR code, that will take you to the part of our website that has all of our course offerings for our high school. And specifically for our academies, if you click on one of the categories, you'll see all of the different, like the film and broadcasting electives that we offer. You'll see, the justice and advocacy electives that we offer. You can click on the different ones and see all of the different electives that are there so that you can see what kind of classes you want to explore and take. And then the one that Ms. Dwyer just mentioned on your far right, if you're interested in finding out more information about Faith Lutheran Online there. And then you have our email addresses down below.
Absolutely. Are there any questions before we call it a night? We really appreciate you attending this. We thank you for your patience at the beginning. Thank you so much to the panelists, especially to Stella and Annie for giving up some of their homework time to be with us. They're just really awesome people. And we do have one question. Do I have to take online classes? No, absolutely not. You don't have to. It's just a new program that we have if you're interested in taking some online classes as well. We have that option. The hybrid schedule has been really great and really flexible for a lot of people, but more information about that in 2 weeks. So, all right. Thank you so much. Looks like there are no questions. We'll stick around for a few minutes, but if you're welcome to leave, if you feel like you had all your questions answered, and we will post this webinar online as well. So thank you so much, everybody. We appreciate you.